Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Real Masters Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Levi Lambright, joined by my co-host, Israel Sandoval.
What up?
Andre Cousin.
What it do?
And Jeremiah Bruff.
How's it going?
This week we have a quartet of reviews and people on the pod. We're reviewing a real classic, The Dark Crystal.
We use classic lightly.
We're gonna go over Malice in the Palace and what we've been watching. But first, how have you guys been doing?
I've seen better days.
School started, so I hate my life, but
Good attitude. I've been doing good, man. Really good weekend, nice and chill, relaxing. Watched a lot of movies. Not all of them good, but yeah. Had a fantasy draft today, first one of the year. Awesome. I love my team, and I'm just ready for football to start.
I was at said fantasy draft, and my team is better than awesome. And I would say that on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say straight up 11 as far as drafting. 11 out of 10 draft team. But anyways, I also got a chance to watch some classic movies. Whether or not Dark Crystal is considered one of those is going to be up for debate here in a minute. But I did watch Alien, which I would like to go over in a little bit of detail here in a bit. Andre, what have you been watching? Anything other than The Dark Crystal?
A whole lot of film. Took our first loss this weekend. Was not a good game for the Jaguars. Other than that, no, just enjoying, relaxing on the weekend. Had a little four-wheeler accident yesterday, but I'm all good.
You're alive.
Yep.
What do you think? What was the main contributing factor to that four-wheeler accident?
He was out there thinking he was DMX, probably.
No brakes. It didn't have brakes, and I totally forgot. I might have been a little bit inebriated, and I forgot there was no brakes, and definitely I dodged a tree though, so that's the important part.
Hey, better in the gravel than on the road.
that's what he always says.
What?
Better to be to be a little tipsy on the four-wheeler than on the road with the four-wheeler. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you can still die on a four-wheeler, though. So.
Well, if you look at the percentages of vaccinated four-wheelers, it's a lot lower than the other.
Yeah.
The odds are in my favor.
You got a point.
And have you watched anything other than some PowerPoints, Jeremiah? And now that you started back in the old college?
I mean, I restarted Psych, TV show. It's a great show. Really, no movies, really. Yeah, I don't think so. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima and watching Psych mostly, so nothing crazy.
Not to cut you off, but one, excuse somebody over there, and two, I'm getting ready to jump back into Dexter.
What the hell are you talking about?
Ooh, yeah, before that new season comes out.
Sounded like somebody farted.
No,
It's the table.
Oh.
My ass.
I started watching Attack on Titan, and
oh yeah, I need to do that.
And I think that's the only show I've been watching. Izzy, you said you watched a couple movies.
I did. So like I said, I didn't really have any plans this weekend, other than today was a fantasy draft. So I feel like I've been doing a lot over the weekend, so it was nice and chill. Was gonna watch some movies. Friday I watched. What are we?
Damn butt squeaker. Now Jeremiah just for real farted.
I knew it.
Sound like you fucking choked out a rubber ducky.
God damn. freaking frog dead outside on the freaking road.
Fuck. Like a fucking moose.
I watched. It was actually I didn't even notice it till today. I was like, I had a little like Emma Stone weekend. Friday, we watched. What the hell is that movie called? Oh, Crazy Stupid Love, which I'm shocked I haven't seen it, but because I'm big into rom-coms, and I like that a lot. It had Ryan Gosling in it, Steve Carell. It's pretty old. I don't know what year though, but it was dope. But I liked it a lot. It's probably up there in rom-coms. Saturday was the big day. I tried to watch The Dark Crystal for our classic edition, our real classic, and whew, I tell you what, about halfway in, I was like, I can't do this no more. So I turned it off and I watched He's All That, which was
What the fuck?
yeah.
I fucking
don't
hate
know.
this podcast
I
so
don't know.
much.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of She's All That, so I was like, oh, I'll watch it. It wasn't too bad, I guess. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was all right. I mean, it had its cheese in it and not great acting, but I enjoyed it. And then after that, I watched another Emma Stone movie, Easy A, which I've never seen before.
Ooh, that shit's funny.
Dude, it was really good.
Funny as fuck.
I was like, damn, Emma Stone freaking killed it back in the day. So, and then I woke up this morning, attempted to watch more of The Dark Crystal. I said, oh, I need to finish it. Turned it off again with like 20 minutes left. Left it to the draft, and right before we started recording, I finished it, kind of.
Oh, well, don't lie. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it
you
was-
said kind of.
all right,
it was on the
It was kind
TV.
I want to. So to go into a little detail on how we got to the Dark Crystal.
Oh, let's break it down.
Let's
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
figure
here we
this
go.
shit out.
Okay, you want to know the story?
well,
Yeah, because first of all,
Levi what?
Jeremiah played us. Basically.
No, bullshit. Levi comes to lunch. 11
banana in the
o'clock,
tailpipe.
whatever, 12 o'clock. He says, oh, Izzy's about to post this poll, 82 or 96. I said, that's dope, but he should do it on the Real Masters page. I was
That
like, so
wasn't
I
it.
texted and was like, I'm about to make an Instagram. He's like, cool, I'm about to make a Facebook. I said, and I'm about to post a poll on the Instagram story and share it with Facebook, blah, blah. Cool. So he got impatient and he posted on his personal page. Meanwhile,
It was always gonna post on my personal
but you
page.
shouldn't have. So this is why you got fucked. It's your punishment.
So last week, me and Izzy did a randomizer, and we picked 1996 or 1982 to pick a classic movie from. Izzy put the poll on Facebook. The first person to comment with a movie from either one of those dates, with 2 votes, that's the movie we would review this week.
Right.
And of course, nobody read the post correctly.
Which is understandable, but
It's not.
It
If you're
was.
gonna read,
it's
read.
not. I was like talking to my mom. I was like, dude, it said it clearly on the post. She's like, usual suspects. After you even
Every
you
single
corrected it
every-
in the comments,
yeah.
you corrected it again.
I didn't even. I mean, I
You're
just
like, hey
restated
guys,
it.
just
yeah.
so you know, or
Yeah.
82 or 96.
So when I posted it, and I guess a lot of people read 82 through 96 instead of or. I put or, but a lot of people read it 82 through.
Yeah.
So people were giving me movies outside of 82 and 96. So I had recommented it saying or, but
Right.
people still were
So-
posting. So I let it go.
So he posted it, and I was like, Levi reminded me that Dark Crystal came out in '82. I said, oh shit, that's one of my favorite movies.
Good
so
job,
I
Levi.
texted my dad and Anya.
Well, first of all, you commented Dark
I
Crystal.
commented.
And I said, Jeremiah, you don't count. You're on the
So-
pod. This is for the
And
viewers.
I still won fair and square. So I was like, hey, we're doing a poll for this week's podcast. Dark Crystal came out in '82. Y'all should comment that. And they did, and it won. And
That's yeah.
Yeah.
fair and square.
So yeah, he won. Like you said, he got one over us.
So we ended up having to watch Dark Crystal.
Would you
Well-
rather watch Poltergeist? Because Poltergeist actually won. You actually cheated and got over on us by deleting Poltergeist.
I didn't know we were gonna say that.
Fair.
Fair. Yeah, more than fair.
Well, since we had to watch that shit, yes. We should have watched Poltergeist.
No, we shouldn't have.
Would you rather watch Dark Crystal or Poltergeist?
I would have rather watched La Bamba because La Bamba really
was
won.
not in 82 or 96.
So I was just like, screw it, La Bamba won. Here goes Levi and Jeremiah crying. It wasn't in 82 or 96.
Yeah, you're
Wait,
on
that
post.
defeats the purpose of the poll. I didn't care. I said we should have watched Poltergeist because that's what won.
And I said, yes, go ahead, but without me.
Exactly. You weren't going to watch the movie.
No, I was not going to watch
Dark
that
Crystal
movie.
won fair and square.
So you're letting fans know.
I'm letting everyone know right
Izzy
now.
cheated.
I am not going to watch scary movies. I hate scary movies. I get scared. I don't like them. I'm not watching a scary movie.
I was ready to go see Candyman this week.
I'm not watching that shit either.
Oh, you would have been watching it by
So
yourself.
if we're ever going to review, if you see it on our post, hey, we're reviewing this
Candyman,
movie
bitch.
and it's
Well, you
scary,
found him.
I will not be on that pod because I can't do it. I'm a scaredy cat.
Well, either way, we ended up with the Dark Crystal, and we might as well just go into it since we're here and we're at it. I've seen it before. Jeremiah has seen it, repeat viewings, but you guys came in completely fresh. I kind of want to know what your guys' thoughts stand from the beginning.
I'd rather watch Space Jam on repeat for 48 hours.
Well, that was cool because I said I'd rather watch Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill 5 times straight before I watch that again.
That's fair too.
All right, let's get into
This
the.
movie, like I've never been so like I never wanted a character to save the world for the movie to end so fast. in my life. Like just fucking find the crystal, do your thing before the fucking moons or suns or whatever the fuck it is come together. Get this shit over with.
Yeah, so Jeremiah likes this movie, so I kind of want him to go over the plot. I can't do it because I don't know what it was about.
Jim,
Well,
Dude.
let me give a quick overview. The Dark Crystal is a 1982 dark fantasy film directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz, coming out to a budget of $25 million with a box office gross of 41 with a runtime of 93 minutes. Jeremiah, go ahead and, since you are the most expert or experienced Dark Crystal watcher, go ahead and run down the plot for us.
Have you ever watched it sober?
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
watched this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was, I think the first time I watched it was like 8 or 10.
I needed some Dark Crystals.
What?
Go ahead and run it down.
You doing meth? Right. So there's this planet named Thra, and it holds this crystal, which is like its source of power, and all the power is connected to each other.
Already fucking
There's 2 main races, the Podlings and the Gelflings. And during this movie, it's explained that the crystal cracked and there's a shard missing, and it's
go find the shard.
caused
Okay.
unbalance. And there was a prophecy told that a Gelfling would like save and complete the crystal again before the third conjunction, which is when the suns meet and where the crystal is at its most powerful.
And by doing that, he would restore Earth or wherever they were, right? Restore.
By putting the shard back in the crystal, it would
Give light.
restore Earth, but also, so they don't really explain this in the movie, but these beings are split in 2, which are the Mystics and the Skeksis. So there's like completely good, which are the Mystics, and the completely evil, which are the Skeksis. And they are in control of this crystal right now. And they actually like pretty much committed genocide, killed all the Gelflings because of this prophecy. And I've been waiting for this third conjunction because they think that they're going to gain a lot of power, like
And they feed.
by absorbing this. Yeah, and they feed off the energy of
They drink their essence.
right. Yeah, so they drain the essence, which is pretty much what means is like the power that's coming from the crystal and to the thrall and to nature and to the beings themselves, and it can be drained out of them.
So, in my first viewing of the movie, I was under the influence of a woman. We'll just call her Mary Jane, and she put it on me that day because I honestly enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fun. It was a spectacle. The lore of it was cool. I mean, you explaining it now, it's still, I like the idea of the lore behind it. And I've watched the series, and so I have a more complete picture of what happens throughout the series and the movie.
Yeah, so
But
there's a series that's like the prequel to the movie, and it's showing the Gelflings and before the genocide.
and I enjoyed the lore of it, but watching the movie was a drag this time. And I think it was just due to I just felt like the movie was a little dated, and I think
Little.
I think that watching it without the idea of the spectacle of it being for the first time, because a big part of why I thought it was so intriguing the first time I watched it was I had no idea that all of the characters, every environment throughout was all like puppeteers. Like there was no actors in suits or anything like that. It was all puppets. And I thought that from like an artistic perspective was just like cool. Like I had never seen anything like it. And so I was into it in that way. And like I said, I liked the lore of it. But watching it this time, there was so many scenes that I think were played for comedy or were played for a child to like be interested in like an epic scene or whatever, and to me to just one to see where the series evolved to, and then also to see so many other things that are 2020. um I don't know, it just dragged for me. It was hard. It was a lot harder to watch, and I definitely didn't get that same experience. I don't know. I think watching it with Jeremiah and having it be one of his more favorite movies when I watched it, that also gave me an incentive to be invested in it. Like that idea of anything that you do something that's commemorative,
Right.
like you're along for the journey, and so I enjoyed it a lot more because I was along for the journey, and Jeremiah was interested in how I was watching it, and so it created some kind of like I don't know bonding experience watching the movie. But this time I just watched it by myself, sober as fuck, and I'm just like, nah, is this one over yet? So I don't know. It definitely on a rewatch was a different movie.
Yeah.
It was. That's $4 I'll never get back.
Right. Yeah, because we had to rent it. There was no.
Like
It wasn't on any streaming service.
I'd rather take that $4, give it to Ron Artest, and say, "Punch me in the face."
Yeah. Me and Jeremiah were supposed to watch it Saturday, but some stuff came up with him personally, so he wasn't able to watch it. Yeah. So I live with my cousin, so we watched it, and she thought she was looking at me. She was like, "What is Jeremiah thinking?" I was like, "Dude." I was 20 minutes in, and I texted Levi. I was like, "Bro," I was like, "I don't know if I can do this, man. Like, I don't know." It was, and I don't want to sound. It's gonna sound bad. It was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It really was, man.
I agree.
Huh? What was that?
I
Dre?
agree.
Yeah.
Like the Emperor in the beginning dies, and then his face just falls off. His face just falls apart.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I thought that was actually cool. So when the evil people died, they like crinkled apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the good people died, they kind of like turned into like it was kind of Star Warsy, like
They become the Force.
they become
Yes.
the Force. So I actually kind of liked that portion of it. But so, dude, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't get this story. And the dude's full like narration. He's telling you what's happening, like this, and this, and I still didn't get it. I still didn't understand. I was like, freaking lost here. So the prophecy is this freaking elf dude, Gefling, and he doesn't know he's part of this. He doesn't know he's the chosen one, and his master's about to die. Oh yeah, right before I die, I forgot to tell you, you're the prophecy guy. You got to do this and do that, and then he freaking croaks. And dude's
Go
like,
find the shard.
yeah, dude's
Go
like,
find that shit, bye.
what are you talking about, bro? Like, don't leave. Like, why are you just telling me this? My bad.
Find the
It's like,
shard.
what the fuck? And then, dude, it was bad. I was not interested. I was bored. It was the longest 90 minutes of my life. Like I said, it took me 3 attempts to watch this shit. Like, it didn't even get you know how most movies get exciting towards the end? It didn't get exciting. I just wanted it to end so bad, dude. I was like,
Okay, I see you.
This dude. And the villains. So, I mean, obviously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out after this. But Tonka and Razor, that turtle, that was the Celtics. It was the same thing. And they're just making weird noises throughout the whole movie. I'm like, what is Jim Henson thinking as he's writing this? Like, yeah, I'm just going to put in here. The freaking villain makes some weird noises. The guy looks at him, makes some weird noises back, and let's just keep this going for like 10 minutes.
I think Jim Henson was tripping off acid.
It had to have been. I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
I think too, watching it with Jeremiah, having someone there explaining.
I probably would have been better for me too. I will say that.
I said if you guys had questions, ask me, but no one asked.
But that's the thing. I mean, they watched this movie. No,
I also did not watch the end because my DoorDash delivery was 2.5 hours late, and I had a very spirited phone call with DoorDash.
We didn't miss shit. You didn't miss nothing.
So
dude.
that's right. It was like, I'm not going back and rewatching it. There was no part of me that was like, oh, you guys got to finish.
They're making it.
I was like, you know what? We're just going to get in there and talk. I made it this far. Let's run it.
And it was so, like, intense, like, he has to do this mission. But, like, it was the easiest fucking thing ever. Like, he just went in there and did it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm here. There's a crystal. I have this shard, which is a piece of crystal. And he had to make it complete. Dude's just sitting on top of there. The villains are just staring at him, waiting to do it for, like, 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm just going to do it now. Boom. I'm like, are you going to go up there and try to fight this dude or what? You're just going to watch him. He's just chilling. Oh my God, he's here. And he just stands there.
Video.
Yeah, I'm here. And they're just like, I know there's a little scuffle. But then he just jumps on top of this thing, waits a little bit. They're looking at him, and boom. I was like, well, that was super anticlimactic. And it's like, there was no fight scenes. Or there was, but it was horrible. These two guys are fighting for Emperor, and the freaking thing they have to do is take this sword and hit this rock. What the hell was that?
Trial by stone.
Yeah, let me pick up a sword and smack that rock, dude. And they're just swinging at it normal. Fuck that, I'm getting a running head start. Freaking. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'd watch The Green Knight 5 times before I watch that again.
Yeah. Freaking Green Knight's a freaking classic compared to this movie. God.
Yes. Like I said, we use classic very loosely. It was a classic piece of shit. That's what it was, in my opinion.
All right, Jeremiah, you're sitting here on the you got your shield up. Defend yourself.
I feel like I don't need to defend myself. I just feel like
We gotta say why you liked it.
if you guys can't comprehend good shit,
Well, what's
I
good
don't know
about
how
it?
to help you.
What makes
so
it a
here's
classic?
what makes it a classic. So
Listeners,
you got Jim
please watch this
Henson,
movie and let us know what you
who
think of it, please.
Very famous puppeteer.
Yeah, he made the Muppets, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he did all the Muppet movies.
Yeah. Which I like.
So he comes out with this lore. I love it. I love the writing. I love what he did with the sets, with his puppeteering. I mean, yes, the acting was pretty comical. I honestly like, oh, Jen, I don't know how to feel, and it was just like fucking super tonal, like one emotion or whatever. And that's kind of how both the girlfriends were, right? But Jim Henson was able to create this world and make it comprehensive and also inclusive to the viewer. Like, I mean, in the beginning, you have this epic ass music. The narrator comes in a world, Thra, explaining this lore, this crystal, how energy moves throughout. To me, that's dope as fuck. How is it not? Everything is connected, and now it's shattered.
I'd rather just
right. So it's not about all the action and all the stuff that could happen. It's about the story of making it complete and showing good and bad, evil and pure good. The difference between them with the mystics and the Skeksis, how they interact. And
yeah, but I feel like we didn't get a lot of that. Like, I feel like, yeah, I knew these guys were bad, these guys were good, but I didn't have the feeling that, I don't know, man. I mean, it was short. So I looked up the trailer to the series, and the series actually looks good. Like,
series is great. I love the series.
Interesting. I was like, oh, this shit looks dope.
The series has a lot more action. There's a lot
more, but it wasn't even
the series.
It wasn't
I will vouch for the series.
It wasn't even the action for me. Like, I see what you're saying, and that, I mean, that would sound dope, but I didn't get that from this movie. I didn't get the same feeling you got. Like, the way you're saying it, I didn't see that.
But you just said that I was listening to the narrator and I wasn't understanding. I wasn't like really listening. Like you just.
I just said I was listening, but I'm saying I wasn't comprehending like what he was.
Right, exactly. So how would you get anything if you weren't comprehending it? Like so.
Well,
of course you didn't get that.
That doesn't mean I wasn't listening to him, though. I can listen to Levi talk to me, but if I don't get what the fuck he's saying,
well, I can read a
how's
book,
that mean not listening?
Back, and if I don't comprehend it, I don't get the meaning.
But that's not me not listening, though.
I think what you're saying is just that, like,
I listened to what he said.
The narrator is telling you what happens in the context of the world.
Yeah,
and so if you have
a small part.
And so you're sitting there like, what the fuck is Thrall? What the fuck is Skeksis? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's all of these terms that are just contextual to the world that he's explaining. So you're going in with no idea of what these words, like, what is Thrall? What is... So it's like, and I know what you're saying. Like, as soon as you're introduced to a movie that's trying to build a world, and this is my worry about when Dune's going to come out. They're going to be introducing all of this stuff, like terms that are related to stuff just in the movie. And it's like, I don't know what that is. And you have to, while you're trying to figure out what one thing is, the movie's still rolling.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, a problem of this movie is that going in, all of this backstory and stuff. So on a rewatch, you can just blank that out. You can just go into the movie and, live out the experience of what's going on the journey. And for somebody new, where I came in and you had explained it before, I think I watched the trailer with you and then you explained what the movie was about. Then we watched it. You guys came in completely fresh and it's like, what the hell is going on? I don't know any of this stuff.
Right.
And so I don't think the movie does a good job of introducing a new viewer to the world as far as, explaining it, because it comes fast. As the first, 3, paragraphs of exposition that the narrator says explains the entire world. So if you don't get that from the get-go, then you're lost for the entire movie, I feel like.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, but I agree with you. I totally agree with what you're saying. But when I watched this and I was 8, I still understood what the fuck was going on.
But did you understand the spectacle of this guy just needs to put the crystal? Because I think Izzy got that, where
but everything
the guy needs to put the crystal in the thing to save the world. Everyone gets that.
Everything I said before I got interrupted was just what I was saying, what I feel. Izzy said, I don't feel that. I said, yeah, because you didn't really comprehend it.
No, you said I didn't listen.
No, I said comprehend.
I said comprehend.
No, you said listen. I said, no, I was listening.
I said
comprehend. Yeah, you can listen, but not comprehend.
I said comprehending names.
We can fucking go back to this audio and show that I'm fucking right. I said comprehend.
You told me I wasn't listening.
Rangers! Rangers! I'd rather listen to that.
I said,
2 hours straight than watch that movie again.
Either way.
But all because I'm listening to something doesn't mean I'm gonna get it.
But as a kid, I wanted to watch this. It's obvious that you didn't really want to watch it.
No, I wanted to. Why would I not? If I didn't want to watch it, I wouldn't have watched it. I would have made up an excuse that I couldn't do it.
So you wanted to watch. I'm just saying, like.
I mean, yeah, as a part of the podcast,
I don't know why you interrupted
we were
me
gonna
when I
review
was saying,
this
like,
movie.
this is what I felt. You said, I don't feel it. I said, okay, that's great. I'm just explaining what I felt when I watched this movie.
I didn't interrupt. You talked, and I said, yeah, I didn't get that.
I'm saying, I don't get why.
Well, either way, I think that's what the crux of the argument is. Here is the plot, here is the story, here's the characters. And for you, it created an emotional response. For Izzy, it didn't.
You're right. And that's what I was doing. I was rebuffing what you were.
And maybe on a rewatch.
Okay, but you asked why I liked it.
And you gave me the answer.
No, I was trying to, and you put in your 2 cents, and we haven't got off of it yet.
Oh, then keep going.
I don't know what I was going to say, to be honest.
Well, I think either way, I think also watching the series, the series is so much and the series is honestly worth a watch.
Well, the series is a prequel, right? It's
right.
before the movie.
And so it explains the world. And
I had texted you, I was like, I really wish, because I didn't know the series was on Netflix. I thought they had taken it off. Then when we picked the Dark Crystal, I texted you, I was like, I really wish I had more time to watch the series, because I would have watched the series and then watched the movie.
And I think maybe at a later date.
That would have been a good, like, chronological.
Yeah.
Because they explain, like, I was watching the first episode today, and they were explaining a lot more of the questions that people had for the movie.
Dre, what did you ultimately, I mean, obviously you said you'd rather watch shit dry on a wall than this movie, but what, did you get any emotional response from it? Did you understand what the core plot of the whole movie was? What did you think about the spectacle of it all? I like the music. I love the music from it. I mean, that's one part of the spectacle I enjoyed. Yeah. But what do you think about the puppets and all of that?
It wasn't my favorite. So I understood the gist of the movie, right? Like Jeremiah was saying, it's good versus evil. Got that part. But to like we were just saying with Izzy, with the Black Knight, not the Black Knight, the Green Knight. I didn't know enough about what the hell is going on. I mean, I got it, but I don't know. I didn't like it. That's all I can tell you. I didn't like it. Now, I had a rough day today, so maybe I should have watched it yesterday. But the music was okay. I will give you that. The puppets. I mean, I didn't mind the puppets because, like you said, I like the Muppets. So it's not like I like this guy's work. This movie was not for me.
Yeah, the Muppets wasn't.
And I don't mind that.
I think the other issue is that this is it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
And we're reviewing it.
And
as adults.
But I mean,
and I'm about to be 30.
I like kids movies though.
Well, that's what I was going to get back to too. We reviewed Space Jam earlier, and people were complaining, well, that's a kids movie. You can't review it as an adult film. We're reviewing this as not an adult film, but a film taken in by adults. We're reviewing this in the same way. So, I don't care that it's a kids movie. I'm going to review it as a movie.
Yeah.
So,
and to that point, I think that the way kids' movies are made today and the way they were made in 1982 are different. In a lot of kids' movies now there is things for adults, right? Whether it be like sex jokes, dry humor and stuff like that. And I don't think in 1982 that they really gave a shit about that, like whatever kids are going to watch it. And especially if the series was already successful. So it's purely for a kid in 1982.
And in 1982, movies back in that day were shot a lot different. Editing techniques now, we've discussed this before, where it's 3 to 4 seconds and you're going to the next scene. There was a lot of scenes in this movie that it just slow pans, sticking on one scene for 10 to 20 seconds, where they're trying to build the world in that way. But, for us now, we're almost trained to be like, let's get on with the story. Let's get on with what's going to happen next. So I think in that way, it doesn't age the same way. But like we talked about in the Green Knight, you enjoy still that slow build of let's take in this world, let's get all of this scenic, exposure. But I think it's hard for anybody nowadays, especially how our brains are trained, to really get that same type of, experience.
Well, it has a more complex plot than a lot of movies today. I mean, there's a lot of simple plotted movies.
Yeah, the fact that we're watching it and we need somebody to explain it to us.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? It's, I think, detrimental to the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's detrimental. To me, I like that. I like complex plots. I like something that's challenging. But I don't think Dark Crystal is challenging. But it's a complex plot. There's a lot going on. In a big picture, it's talking about a whole world,
In an hour and a half.
How things, exactly, yeah. It's a whole planet.
I mean, yeah. I like complex movies too. I like being challenged. Having to really deeply think about something. But this movie, I don't know. It's just it wasn't for me. There was from beginning to end, there was nothing that really grabbed me and brought me into the movie or brought me into the world. Like I said, I'm not interested to go back and watch the series.
Right.
I don't know. It wasn't a movie for me.
There was nothing that got me.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, let's get our ratings. Let's get our, I think we've all had our final say on it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to. I feel like it's saying that I can't deal with complex movies. I mean, I watch complex movies. I like complex movies too.
But it didn't draw your
attention. It just didn't grasp my attention. I watched it and there was nothing to me that excited me. Like, okay, well, this is happening. I want, you know what I mean? I want to be able to see what's going to happen at the end. I didn't care. So, I don't know. I didn't care about the characters, the main character. That's probably was my main thing too. I didn't really care about him. Like, he's this hero. He's the chosen one. He's supposed to do this prophecy. But I felt like I didn't know enough about him other than he thought he was the last Gelfling or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But I didn't care about that character. So maybe that's what it was too. He was the main character. I didn't really care about him.
It's valid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've listed.
In the whole movie, he was just he seemed clueless to me in the whole movie.
I mean, he, as a main character, is as dry as it gets. He is literally just there to serve the purpose of carrying out the prophecy. He doesn't have a character other than that.
But then he was raised by these essentially monks.
Yes, I'd agree.
Like, your purpose is to go A to B.
Right.
That's his character.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like there's other old movies that are kind of, maybe not to that certain extent, but there's older, so The Never-Ending Story, I feel like maybe is another type of movie that could be like that. I love that movie. And I didn't watch it when I was a kid. I watched it when I was older.
I would like to view that again, because I watched it when I was older as well. But I was hungover as shit. So, I mean...
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it.
Yeah, and I like that movie.
Yeah, I'm still doing that.
That's alright.
And also, I didn't get the adventure output. So he's got to go do this prophecy or whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna at least, it's gonna be at least an adventure type movie. Like, he's gonna run into stuff, which he did. But it's like, maybe because it was so short, there was no. Like, he went to that place to get the shard, right? And he met that older lady. Mm-hmm. But I felt like that whole scene took 5 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, well, at least you're talking about this world or whatever. At least I feel like I didn't see it. I didn't see none of that world.
Well, the world
He was not Mr. Frodo.
destitute, though. I mean, they did show the world. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like you guys, you're coming in with these expectations of like, I need to see this fucking amazing shit. It was puppets and fucking backdrops. Like, you know, they're not gonna have epic battle scenes. They're not gonna have epic exploration scenes. You know.
But I wasn't. I mean, I knew it wasn't an action movie. I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like
I feel like
the
that movie would do better as a children's book than a movie. Story time with that book would have been okay if I could imagine it myself.
Right, because, I mean, who doesn't like that plot? I mean, that plot's in many other movies and shows, right? Okay, the chosen one has to do this. That's an awesome plot. I love that plot. This
Yep.
guy's the chosen one. His family was killed and ravaged by these evil beings, but he's the last one left. And the prophecy says in so many years he's got to do this to defeat evil and bring light to the world. I mean, that so many in so many movies, but I feel like I don't know. I still, even today, if they made a movie like that today, I would go watch it because I like that plot. I just feel like this movie didn't give me that.
It just
Right.
it didn't grab you. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like also, I mean, Jeremiah has a layer of nostalgia. Not saying like your eyes are clouded by your nostalgic glasses or anything like that. I mean, it's fine to like it at this day and age without that too. But it's just I think for us we had a different perspective on the movie. I think I'm more in the middle than you guys. I think you're on one end of the spectrum, he's on the other end, and I find myself somewhere in the middle. Which brings me to the ratings. Real ratings. Jeremiah's already given it a 5 out of 5.
You give it 5?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm going to go ahead and start it off. I think I'm going to give this a solid 2.5. I think, like I said, a 3 elicits that I want to rewatch this maybe a few more times. I think I've had my fill of this movie. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's the best. I think it's definitely passable for what it is. I think there's aspects of it that I really, really do enjoy. I love the theme of the song, or the theme of the movie. I love the Dark Crystal theme. It's something that I have tried to sample in music. It is something that, I think has an epic tune to it. And I like the artistic vision of it. I think the visuals in the movie are awesome, but I just think that the story overall just did not. I think the story's good too, but I just don't think the execution of it. And I think the movie aged a little bit more poorly than I originally thought. So I'm gonna go with a 2.5 out of 5.
My turn, or what?
Go ahead, man. The floor is open.
I'll give it. Fuck, I don't know, 0.5.
Wow. What'd you give Space Jam?
1.75 or something.
So
What's
you
that called?
Letterboxd.
I'll give it a 0.5. Like I said, one of the worst movies I've seen.
Wow.
I didn't like it. Like, I would never watch it again. The only reason I'm giving it some points is because, like I said, so I like the Force theme. I did like the plot. I do like the premise of there's the chosen one, and he's got to do this. Other than that, I liked zero of the characters. It took me 3 attempts to watch an hour-and-a-half movie. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is.
and like Jeremiah said, I kind of watched it. The last 20 minutes, I just had it on the TV. I didn't really want to pay attention to what was going on because I didn't care what was going on. Yeah, 0.5, man. It was bad. But maybe one day, I'll watch the series, and if I like the series, maybe one day I'll go back to it. and with knowing the stuff that the series is going to teach me, maybe I'll give it a better rating. I don't know. But right now it's a 0.5. I hated it. I did. I didn't like it. It was bad.
Well, I'll go so that we can end it on a high note because I'm only going to give it a 1.
Oh, okay.
For the same reasons, I didn't. Like I said, it wasn't a movie for me. Like Izzy, I didn't like any of the characters. Nothing really, pulled me in. Yeah, I have no plans on watching this again or the series. 1.
Numero uno.
Are you ready for mine?
We're ready.
1,000. No, I gotta give it 4.5. That's my movie. I grew up watching it. I always enjoyed the lore. I mean, the reason why I love it so much is because Jim Henson can write a story, make a plot, and for me at least, convince you to be involved in it, and allow your imagination to kind of go off into this world. And so, like, I understand what you guys are saying about like how it didn't age well or whatever, but it's like, to me, it's like I respect the art of it. I mean, I'm not saying like puppets are like a great form for like cinema, or you know what I'm saying, but it's like just the fact that they were able to do that and how they did it was, to me, that's amazing. I mean, and make it look how they made it look. I mean, in my eyes, the movie looked great, and it's aged, but it's like, yeah, it was 82. I mean, animation wasn't great. Green screen weren't great. I mean, they were blue screen still. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, I've always liked Jim Henson, though. You know, and I've always liked him as a writer and him as a performer and an artist. So, yeah. And I love the series. I love the lore. So, yeah. I love the Dark Crystal. It's not for everyone. But to me, it's a great story. So.
Well, I mean, that definitely makes for a... I think this is probably our most, not controversial, but divided review yet. All over the spectrum as far as ratings go. Which, hey, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I can't wait to shit on a movie that you guys like. I'm sure Jeremiah's waiting. I'm sure he's loading this one up in the back.
Oh, click clack, motherfuckers. Click clack.
So.
Just saying.
I mean, I wouldn't care. I mean,
you in an Under Armour commercial or what?
But yeah, I think that kind of just wraps up our review of the Dark Crystal. I think I'm interested to view some more classics because I think it's gonna
controversial
classics.
Let's just do classics. They don't have to be controversial.
They're all gonna be controversial. I guarantee you.
I think they might be because
not all of them.
Because I've been doing this. I mean, like, how many pods have we done together?
This is pod number 7.
Yeah, this class is gonna be controversial with this whole group. It's very clear that we all have very distinct and different tastes, which is not bad. It's just that's how we are.
Yeah, and I think it makes for an interesting conversation.
Because I like, you guys hate.
I feel
things
like
you love, I hate.
I feel like me and Dre are the two closest.
Oh yes, yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. I'm a little fence rider.
You are.
I can go both ways. I'm gender neutral over here.
But I also like. But I also there's not other than horror movies. There's not a genre I hate. I can watch any genre of movie except for horror.
But I'll literally watch any movie.
Yeah, and I've also liked all movies of different genres.
I don't know. There's some movies that I can watch and stomach, but in say like that was okay, but I could also walk away from it and say I can tear this movie limb for limb.
Yeah, where like you and Dre are more like, if I'm bored and if it bores me for the second, then I'm done.
Like, let's say, for example, you watched He's All That. I can watch that movie. I could see myself watching it and finding it perfectly entertaining for the moment. But if I wanted to, I would rip it limb from limb and be like, here's why this sucked, these characters suck, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But
now,
see, but I don't go into movies like wanting to shit on them. Like, I feel like you do.
I win.
Huh?
Yeah, but Izzy, you don't go into them, but as soon as you don't like something or as soon as something bores you, you turn off, and it's like the whole rest of the movie, I feel like you just don't.
Oh, yeah.
You don't pay attention. So it's like, how do you really get the good feel of the movie?
Call ends in 10 minutes.
I feel like I am like that. So for me, I am like that. So I wouldn't necessarily...
Because you're right, I do tend to do that. I try not to, but it does happen sometimes.
Even reading. So for reading, for example, if I'm reading a book, you have to grasp me within the first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't care what I'm reading about by the first chapter, I'm not gonna read it anymore. A series too. If you don't grasp my attention in that first episode, it's gonna be very hard for me to finish it.
I feel like I'll give anything a good effort, a good shot. Like this movie, I tried like for an hour and probably 10 minutes. I gave it a legit effort. I wasn't even on my phone. Oh, no. It just didn't get me.
I gave that shit 20 minutes, bro.
Honestly, for the most part, I try to give an honest opinion. But there are times where I catch myself being like, if I didn't pick this movie, then it's not worthy of my time. I'm going to watch it, and I'm not going to like it.
Levi's the type of person that if I be like, dude, this movie's tight as fuck. I love this movie. You got to watch it. Levi's like, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to watch it, and even if I do like it, I'm going to shit on it. I don't want to like it. That's how Levi is.
I can be like that. I like that.
I did have 100% expected myself to shit on Suicide Squad. Like going into it, I think I told Izzy before I watched it, I was like, I can't wait to rip this movie. But I watched it and I liked it.
What's that musical that you liked?
What, this year?
Yeah.
In the Heights.
Like that movie, I totally would go in with the thought of, I am not going to like this movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm not big into the musicals. I'm not big into that shit at all. So, especially televised musicals. But I feel like if I'm sitting there and giving it 3 hours of my time, I owe it to myself to try and be open about it. But I probably shit on it.
I know you would.
But a part of that's just to see, the look. I just like sometimes pooping on movies that people like.
Yeah.
But I feel like
everyone likes doing that.
I talk about how people, if they're not expecting, they're not gonna like it. With that movie, Within the Heights, changing it up, Within the Heights, I was gonna like that no matter what.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was gonna like, because to me, it was just, I love musicals, but there's some musicals I don't like. But I was definitely gonna like that no matter what, because it was also about culture too that you don't see a lot of nowadays in movies in general, musicals. So to me, it was a win for the culture. And the songs are dope. I think I still listen to songs from the album.
But as always, this is the Real Master Podcast, and keep it real.